What would you do if your neighbor turned your life into a battlefield over a few dollars, but you found a way to turn their world upside down? The air in Willow Creek was thick with the kind of tension that hums before a storm. Karen Pritchard, the self-appointed queen of the cul-de-sac, had a face that could sour milk. Her jowls quivered when she spoke, and her eyes, sharp as broken glass, seemed to hunt for flaws in everyone around her. She was a woman who thrived on control, her voice a grating bark that echoed through the neighborhood like a dog staking its territory. For years, she'd ruled over Willow Creek's homeowners association with an iron fist, her gavel a pen that scribbled fines and fees on a whim. And I, Ellie Harper, was her latest target. It started innocently enough. I'd moved into the cozy bungalow on Maple Drive, a single mom with a 7-year-old daughter, Lily, and a dream of a quiet life. The house was a fixer-upper, but it was mine, paid for with every cent of my savings after the divorce. Karen, however, saw me as fresh meat. Within a week, I found a letter in my mailbox, typed in aggressive bold font, demanding $50 for neighborhood beautification fees. I laughed it off at first. Surely, this was a mistake. But when I knocked on Karen's door, her sneer told me otherwise. "Everyone pays, Ellen," she snapped, getting my name wrong with a deliberate edge. "It's for the community. Your lawn's an eyesore, and we can't have that dragging down property values." My lawn was fine, neatly mowed, with a few daisies Lily had planted. But Karen's tone brooked no argument. I paid the $50, thinking it was a one-time thing. Then the next month, another letter arrived. And the next. Always $50, always vague, with no receipts or explanations. When I asked for details at the HOA meeting, Karen's face twisted into a mask of mock pity. "If you can't afford to live here, Ellen, maybe you should sell." The room went silent, neighbors avoiding my gaze. I felt my cheeks burn, but I swallowed my pride for Lily's sake. We needed this home. Months passed, and the fees piled up. I was drowning daycare costs, groceries, and now Karen's endless demands. I started noticing her watching my house from her pristine porch, her chunky arms crossed, judging every move I made. She'd complain about Lily's bike left on the driveway for an hour or the single weed in my flower bed. Once, she even called the city to report my unpermitted mailbox, which cost me $200 to replace. My patience frayed, but I kept quiet, fearing she'd escalate. Karen had a reputation. Neighbors whispered about her vindictive streak, how she'd gotten the Wilsons' dog impounded for barking too loudly. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. One evening, as I was tucking Lily into bed, a soft knock sounded at the door. It was Mrs. Delgado, the elderly widow from across the street, her frail frame trembling with nervous energy. She clutched a manila folder, her eyes darting toward Karen's house. "Ellie," she whispered, "you're not the only one." Inside the folder were documents, letters, receipts, and emails from other neighbors, all detailing Karen's fake fees. Mrs. Delgado had been paying $75 a month for tree maintenance, despite having no trees. The Patels were charged for sidewalk repairs. That never happened. Karen had been running a scam, pocketing thousands while bullying the neighborhood into submission. My blood boiled. This wasn't just about me, Anna Maria, it was about all of us. I thanked Mrs. Delgado and spent the night poring over the documents, my mind racing. Confronting Karen directly would be useless. She'd twist the truth and rally her loyalists. No, I needed something bigger, something that would hit her where it hurt her pride. Karen's front lawn was her crown jewel, a manicured masterpiece. She bragged about it every HOA meeting. She'd once fined a neighbor $100 for stepping on her grass. That lawn was her identity, her power, and I was going to destroy it. The plan took shape over weeks, fueled by sleepless nights and a burning need for justice. I wasn't a vengeful person, but Karen had pushed me too far. I researched local water systems, drainage patterns, and landscaping tricks. I bought supplies discreetly: pipes, a small pump, and a few bags of pond liner from a hardware store 2 towns over. My friend Tom, a landscaper with a grudge against Karen for finding his truck's parking spot, agreed to help. He called it poetic justice. We worked under the cover of night, redirecting a nearby storm drain to feed into Karen's lawn. I dug a shallow basin in her yard, lining it with the pond liner to trap the water. By the time we were done, Her pristine grass was set to become a swampy, mosquito-infested pond with the next rain. The forecast promised a downpour that weekend. I waited, heart pounding, as the clouds rolled in. Saturday morning, I woke to the sound of rain hammering the roof. From my window, I watched Karen's lawn transform. Water pooled, thick and muddy, turning her perfect green carpet into a sludgy mess. Frogs moved in by Sunday, their croaks a mocking chorus. Karen's screams echoed through the neighborhood as she discovered the disaster, her face redder than ever as she stomped through the muck, yelling about lawsuits. But the real twist came Monday morning. Mrs. Delgado, emboldened by my act, had rallied the neighbors. Armed with her folder of evidence, they stormed the HOA meeting, demanding an audit of Karen's accounts. The room buzzed with anger as people shared their stories, fake fees, threats, petty fines. Karen's usual bluster failed her. She stammered, her face a bloated mask of panic. Someone had tipped off the local paper, and a reporter was there, scribbling furiously. By the end of the night, Karen was ousted as HOA president, her reign of terror over. I thought that was the end of it. But karma, it seems, wasn't done. The swampy pond had damaged Karen's property value, and the city fined her for unpermitted water features. Her attempts to sue me fell apart when Tom testified that the storm drain malfunction was a natural accident. Neighbors shunned her, and her once pristine lawn became a neighborhood joke, nicknamed Lake Karen. She put her house up for sale, but no one wanted a swampfront property. Last I heard, she'd moved to a condo downtown, her empire reduced to a one-bedroom rental. As for me, I used the refunded fees to plant a new garden with Lily, full of daisies and sunflowers. Mrs. Delgado became our adopted grandma, baking cookies and sharing stories of her own battles with Karen. The neighborhood felt lighter, like a weight had lifted. I'd never been one for revenge, but watching Karen's world unravel felt like justice not just for me, but for everyone she'd bullied. Sometimes, the best way to fight a tyrant is to hit them where they think they're untouchable. For Karen, it was her lawn. For me, it was the start of a new chapter, one where I finally felt at home. Yindi.